versions of the initiative petitions. There are many of them, and they all have slight variations. Some of them have a hard cap on the amount of sales tax that could be generated in order to offset the reductions in the other types of taxes. And let me back up for just a second and make sure everybody knows what we're talking about here. The initiative petitions to replace basically the state's income tax and some other taxes with a more broad-based sales tax. And there have been numerous versions of those. The concerns that people have expressed about those are, will the level of the sales tax that is being considered be sufficient to fully replace the revenue that would be lost? And in the versions that have a hard cap on the amount of sales tax, the sales tax rate, I think the answer for the most part is no. That the hard cap rate of 5% or in some case 7% would be well below what would be needed to replace the revenue that would be lost from the individual income tax going away. And what that means is that the state would have to not only make do with the already fairly low level of resources, but a significantly lower amount of revenue going forward. In other words, very severe cuts. I think one number that I saw was somewhere around $1 billion of revenue that would be lost. The other things about the proposal, and these are things that everybody's working through. It's not that there's any magic or secret to this. It is when you do a sales tax, if you had the rate at a high enough level to actually replace the revenue that's being lost, how high does that rate have to be? I've seen anywhere 10, 12, 13% in that range. And then what does that mean for the loss of sales across your border and loss of sales to additional internet sales? Missouri has to be particularly cognizant of the fact that we have several other states surrounding us and that we have some major areas in the state that sit on the border, St. Louis and Kansas City, for example. And sales can therefore bleed across those state lines fairly quickly. You also do have much more available through internet sales than you would have had in the past. So one of the things, this is purely fiscal, I'm not talking policy here at all, just purely fiscal, that have to be considered in those proposals is how much of our sales would actually cross across the border into the internet and would actually lose sales here in Missouri and have an impact on our businesses. The base against which that rate will be applied is unknown in this state because we don't currently tax against that base. So you have to make assumptions to get to a number. The assumptions that we made were based on the best information that is available, which is typically national level data that then needs to be factored down to the state of Missouri. So are there assumptions made? Yes, but that's what fiscal notes are about. When we're asked to prepare a fiscal note, either by the legislature or the auditor, we have to use the best information that is available and make an estimate. That's what we do. We do it frequently because we're asked to do it frequently. So can we be certain? No, because the state level of data is simply not available. But it is based on reasonable assumptions.